Coming up today, Trinity alumna is admitted to the San Antonio Hall of Fame.
And more details on Trinity's changes in dining.
All this and more right now on Newswave.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Newswave. Today is Friday, April 14th. I'm Luke McCauley.
And I'm Cole Isaacson.
On April 7th, the Student Government Association, SGA, officially announced the results of the election for the 2023 to 2024 Vice President position. The runoff election featured two candidates, rising senior Katarina Mora and rising junior Eni Siva. With 807 students voting, Mora came out on top and will serve alongside the re-elected president and our executive producer, rising senior Danny Nguyen. Excited about his future work, Nguyen stated, quote, "I look forward to building upon these different initiatives. Now, this upcoming year, we need to expand upon that and also refine what we've done previously. So I'm super excited to take on this challenge in this new year. So let's see where it takes us."
Earlier this semester on March 9th, Trinity University announced that its sports teams would be moving conferences. Beginning in 2025, all Trinity teams will move to the Southern Athletic Association, subsequently leaving the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. The move comes after Trinity's reclassification as a liberal arts institute earlier this year. Trinity football already plays in the SAA and will continue to play in the conference for the 2023 and 2024 seasons. In making the move from the majority Texan conference, Tiger athletes will face longer travel times and heightened competition as they face schools as far away as Kentucky and Georgia.
Emily Burrill Foster, a longtime Trinity women's tennis player and coach, will be inducted into the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame class of 2023. While pursuing her education at Trinity, Foster earned a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education with a minor in biology in 1969. During her stay at Trinity, Foster captured 2 United States Lawn Tennis Association Collegiate Single Championships and 2 double championships. After receiving her master's degree at Arizona State University, Foster accepted an instructing position at Texas Tech University, working with the Red Raiders tennis team for 8 years, before accepting the head coaching position here at Trinity in 1978. In 1983, Foster was named National Collegiate Coach of the Year, and through the 1999 season, Foster's team amassed an incredible record, reaching the National Collegiate Finals on 2 occasions. Foster expressed her gratitude to the San Antonio community, saying, quote, "It is an honor and will be a very special night. I went to college, high school, middle school, and elementary school here in San Antonio. The people of this great city helped me when I was just beginning to play tennis and throughout my career. This award is as much a tribute to them as it is an honor to me."
As Trinity begins planning with Chartwells for the upcoming school year, Coate Student Center may receive some improvements. Although many familiar food vendors will not be returning following the break with Aramark, Student Government Officer Annie Siva has confirmed that Starbucks Coffee and Einstein's Bagels are safe from removal. In addition to the assurance of Einstein's and Starbucks' return, Chartwells plans to continue a successful Revolve station in the Student Center. The current plan is to move Revolve to the current Freshie Kitchen area, allowing local vendors to take advantage of the expanded culinary preparation space. This change would allow vendors to prepare fresh food on site rather than bringing pre-prepared meals in bulk. Trinity's dining committee hopes to use the transportation as an opportunity to include more local restaurants in Revolve's weekly roster. Although rumors of potential vendors have been circulating, no concrete plans or partnerships have been made so far. Plans for improvements have generated excitement amongst the student body and about future dining here at Trinity. And as more information is released, we will be sure to keep you informed here at Newswave.
For the first time in its 7-year history, Trinity's mock trial team competed at the Open Round Championship Series, or RCS. While the team did not advance to the Nationals, they did earn their first ever national ranking. To accomplish this, the mock trial team had to overcome many obstacles, including participating without a formal coach. On this, the president of the mock trial team, Michael Dixon, said, quote, "We've been doing a lot of the roles a coach would typically do going into a competition. Training new members, working with people on materials, and now finding new coaches. One key factor of the team's success has already been its senior members. According to team member Paloma Diaz-Menchu, quote, "They have been put in so much work this year to carry this team when we needed it. They carry a wealth of knowledge with them, and without them, we would not be where we are right now." Even though the mock trial team has been around for very long, they are excited to build on the recent successes. Still coming up, a major bill regarding decriminalization in San Antonio is put on ballot.
And the CEO of TikTok testifies in Congress.
All after the break.
Tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Welcome back. It has been a little over 2 months since the inauguration of Trinity's 20th president, Dr. Vanessa Beasley. Our executive producer and student body president, Danny Nguyen, spoke in August President Beasley on her on her vision for the future of Trinity as she started her administration at One Trinity Place. Check it out.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this very special interview on Newswave, Trinity University's student news broadcast on campus station TigerTV. My name is Danny Nguyen, class of 2024, and here with me today is the newly appointed 20th president of Trinity University, President Vanessa Beasley. President Beasley, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Danny.
Yes, so first off, of course, congratulations on your appointment, and of course, welcome to Trinity. Could you please introduce yourself so that the audience could get to know a little bit more about you?
Absolutely. So you know my name, so I don't have to say that again. I am a scholar of political rhetoric, and with a particular emphasis on the history of the U.S. presidency and how it's changed as our mass media system has changed in the United States and globally. So that's what I love to study. That's what my books and publications are about. I was very fortunate to have taught and researched at 4 other universities before coming to Trinity, so 2 publics and 2 privates, so I have a pretty good sense of how different types of universities work. And I'm also the partner and spouse of Trey Beasley. He's also here with me on campus. We've been married 32 years, and we have 2 children, Adam, who's 24 and lives in Houston, and Charlie, who's 19 and lives in Kentucky.
Sweet. And so what drew you to Trinity and the presidential position?
So it actually starts with a story about one of my children. My son Adam and I in 2014 I was already in San Antonio for a conference, and he had just finished his sophomore year in high school. We lived in Nashville, and he had always really been interested in Texas universities. And so we decided to start touring, and Trinity was our first stop. He flew out and met me in San Antonio, and we did the Trinity tour. And I've told several people this, but it's still it's just still such a happy memory for me. When we were taking the tour, not only was I, charmed by the beauty of the campus and really struck by how distinctive it is, but we also saw, just walking around, some faculty and student interactions. And in particular, it's not the building that CSI is now, but in that area, the building that was before CSI renovation happened, particularly in the science areas, which was what he thought he was going to study then. And I kept saying to him, usually the students that would be working with faculty in labs, as one example, but we could be talking about libraries, archives, writing studio, doesn't matter. Usually at a university, those are going to be PhD students that the faculty are giving most of their attention to. And I've always believed that, especially with bright undergraduates, we should be offering, we in the general sense of higher ed, we should be offering more students more opportunities for that kind of, oh my gosh, this is how a discovery is made, or this is what it takes to write a beautiful poem. So I said to Adam, that seems like Trinity's really good at that. And that's where you want to be, where a faculty member cares about you and your growth, and also is inviting you into the spaces that they care about. So fast forward to all these years later, when I saw the email in my inbox about this presidency, I opened it and read it, and I thought, wow, the things that Trinity wants to do now still have that faculty-student engagement at the core, but also taking the next step forward with regard to redefining the liberal arts. And I got really excited about it. So thought about it for a few weeks and thought, I'm going to put my name in.
Yeah. So now that you, how was your first reaction coming back to campus here? I mean, definitely, I'm sure you might or might not have visited campus after you had a tour with your son here. But what was your first reaction coming back to San Antonio and seeing the Trinity campus?
It's so beautiful. I mean, it's one of the jobs that I had in my previous position at Vanderbilt was working with architects and finance people on a variety of different campus construction projects and the design of them to make sure that our students are learning. And so when we talk about that in general in higher ed, we talk about what's the academic program and then what kind of space do we need for it. And so this time coming back to campus with that knowledge that I didn't have in 2014, I thought, wow, this campus is designed for learning. It's beautiful. I've read a lot about O'Neill Ford since I got the position, and the historic value is meaningful to me. The modernist style is very attractive to me. And the last thing I'll say about that, Danny, is I feel like a campus like Trinity's is designed intentionally and because of the time that it was constructed to be welcoming to many traditions. Sometimes when you're at a college campus, you can see, oh, this was just meant to welcome these kinds of people at this kind of time. And some of those spaces are beautiful and historic. And when I walk around our campus, I feel like, oh, this is an architecture that invites people in, both through the light, beautiful spaces we have, and also through the fact that it's a style that works with many different cultural traditions.
And across the nation, we've had a difficult period in our recent history. It's been kind of chaotic for everyone, and I'm sure you experienced, and we've all experienced it both, here at Trinity, but also at your previous institutions. From pandemics to political turmoil to social injustices. How do you think we should move forward into this new era, and how do you think we, as the Trinity community, can begin our new chapter?
Yeah, thank you, Dane. That's a very thoughtful question. So I study political rhetoric. And when people think about political rhetoric, they might have a tendency to think about, as is appropriate, what's coming out of somebody's mouth, the speeches, the messages. And to your point, we've certainly heard a lot of political rhetoric, and we always will in a democracy. That's one of the great freedoms that we have. The way I'm going to answer your question is, the last few years, I've really started challenging myself to think not only about what I say when I'm speaking into the world and to colleagues, but also how I listen. And that's how I would answer your question. It's a really important moment to think about how we're listening to each other. And listening's a skill. It's something that we can do easily, or we think we can do easily for the most part, but actually learning how to listen in what I call a non-reactive way. Because I study argument, I find it really fascinating to sit down and, or read something or hear something someone's saying and thinking, I never would have made that argument. How would somebody have made that argument? What's their evidence? And how do you decide what's good evidence and bad evidence? How do they connect evidence to that argument? Some of those analytical skills that are part of my training and many other scholars' training too. I think the volume has been turned up, if you will, for a while now. And for me, it feels like a great time to say, all right, everybody, The only way through whatever's coming next is to be together, right? And even with people that you don't agree with, that's actually really important to find common cause, even if that's just for the sake of building community. Community is precious. And so we can't get there unless we learn to listen to each other better. It's really important.
And you know that as a student, you know, I've noticed like our community is pretty unique, our Trinity community, in that even though we come from completely different backgrounds, we do have a sense of bondness in this familial atmosphere that I think that even though we kind of go through these obstacles and hurdles, we all kind of overcome them together, and we kind of leave our opinions aside, and we have a respect for each other to kind of move on
I
forward.
think that's really important, right? And how to do that. I want you to have opinions. I want you to have political views. I want everybody to have a sense of what matters to them. That's really important to be able to articulate it for yourself. It's also true that you and I can work together beautifully on a committee for the good of the university, in your role and my role, even if we don't agree on politics, right? And I think for many parts of society, we've lost sight of that. We don't have to agree on everything to work together to make the community stronger. That's an area where I'd like to see our community grow.
And you know, on a lighter note, as we move beyond, talking about our past, how's your experience here at Trinity so far? Like, what are your first reactions, first thoughts?
Everybody has been very welcoming. I will say I took a few weeks when I first got here at the end of July to basically have some behind the scenes time, if you call it that, because there are things as a candidate for a position such as the presidency that you can't see, that you shouldn't see, right? Anything from financial information to legal information. And so once you have the title, you need to see those things and you need to understand how systems work. So I have a wonderful set of colleagues, all the vice presidents and our general counsel. And being able to be with them and think about, tell me what's in your portfolio. I really want to, again, very respectfully understand how things work here. And they did a great job with that. And then after that, we started to have some meetings, including with SGA, and start to, again, do what I'm talking about, listen to everyone. So within all of that context, everybody's been so warm. Everybody's been so enthusiastic and welcoming. And I'd say everybody's also shown a tremendous amount of energy in whatever the next level is. Like I said, I have a pretty clear vision, but I want to hear from other people too. Everybody's shown just an eagerness to like, okay, let's do this. So that's great.
Yeah. So let's take let's look into the future.
Okay.
Let's see. Where do you want to see Trinity? Let's say 20 years from now. Where are you looking forward to?
So this is not just my belief. I know this. Trinity is in a very unique position to shine as a national liberal arts university. I say national because I think I've had the experience with my friends, people saying, oh yeah, Trinity, this is not necessarily related to my presidency, but over 20, 25 years, people saying Trinity is great. It's a little gem, or like it's a little, it's this hidden jewel. And I'm like, what's hidden about it? Like it's right, it's here, and it's shining so brightly, to use the jewel metaphor. So I think in 20 years, I would predict with great confidence that a couple of things will have happened. One is more people around the nation and around the world will understand what Trinity University stands for, and most importantly, the education that it offers and the value of that education. I'm starting to work with some colleagues to think about, like, are we expressing that the right way? Are we talking about that the right way? So in 20 years from now, I love to communicate. That's my field. So 20 years from now, I know we'll have that down, and more people will know about Trinity. And then I would say the second part of what I can predict accurately is now we're in a time of not just other kinds of innovation with regard to tech, but also educational innovation, right? So there's a lot of people who would say post-COVID, online education's not going away. And I'm really excited about the differentiation you're going to see across educational and institutional types, because there's no one size fits all in higher ed. Trinity is a wonderful place for a particular kind of student. Which is one of the reasons I was so happy my son and I toured here. But it doesn't have to be for everybody. So I'd say that we are increasingly selecting the kinds of students who are going to thrive here and take the Trinity education, and then perhaps stay in San Antonio, perhaps go wherever they're going to go next, and spread the value of that liberal arts education to the next phase in their life too.
I mean, coming from San Antonio, Trinity's always been in my backyard, and so the fact that I get to be here, getting to do these many different opportunities that I have been able to, acquire and thrive in here at Trinity, it's super an exciting experience, and I definitely really do want to see what it looks like 20 years from now. Maybe I'll still be here.
I
Maybe I'll
think
still be around.
here's the deal, Danny. In 20 years, you can call me and we'll figure this out together. But I bet you what you'll find by then is that the degree that you'll have then, that people already respect now, will be even more respected and valued then.
And I really do hope so too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the last question of today's interview, and this is you can look towards one of our mini cameras here for our interview. What do you want to say to the Trinity community?
Okay, I'm going to look at this camera and say, first of all, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the warm welcome that I've received from students, faculty, and staff. Thank you for being the special community that drew me here in the first place. And I've said this to several people already, so this might be repetitive to some of you, but I'm here because you're here. My job as president is to lead and to lead us into the next chapter in Trinity's history. It does feel like there's palpable energy, that we're at what we're talking about as an inflection point. And I think that's right. And it's also right that it just won't be one person who gets us there. It will be our joining together as one community to make the Trinity experience shine even brighter and to make the value of your education even more obvious in the future. So please join me in that effort. And I want to hear from you about what made Trinity special for you.
Wow. So that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you to President Vanessa Beasley for being here, and to the Trinity community and beyond. Stay safe and stay healthy. This is Danny Nguyen, Newswave 14 reporting.
Up ahead, San Antonio visits Washington, D.C.
And then sports from Caleb.
We'll be right back.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov. Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back. On March 27th, the City of San Antonio received sufficient signatures to place the Justice Charter Amendment on the upcoming ballot this May. According to KENS 5, the new charter is focused on, quote, several reforms of police, including decriminalizing marijuana, decriminalizing abortion, banning the no-knock warrants and chokeholds, and a cite and release program for nonviolent offenses. However, there is some pushback from council members because the, quote, charges involved are inconsistent with Texas law. There's a fear that the wording used in the amendment is unclear and will provide further implications on the city because it will be removing police authority from certain matters. As the election season approaches, Newswave will keep you updated about the future of the Justice Charter Amendment.
Recently, San Antonio's leaders have taken part in the 44th annual SA to DC initiative. This program looks for local officials to advocate for various projects to benefit San Antonio and its communities. With San Antonio quickly becoming one of the country's largest cities, its priorities and necessities are constantly changing and evolving. With this year's program already underway, San Antonio's leaders are looking to DC for ideas. Jonathan Gertwitz, a partner with KGB Texas Communications and chairman of this year's delegations, said, quote, Brooke Army Medical Center is one of the types of transformative efforts in the long run that SA to DC invests in, end quote. Other projects and industries looking to gain investments from this year's initiatives include the military, higher education, and advanced manufacturing.
TikTok CEO Xu Zichu recently appeared before the House Committee on Energy and Commerce to defend the social media platform against the growing call to ban the app in the United States. According to CBSNews.com, Members of both parties spent hours denouncing TikTok's data collection practices and painting it as a tool used by the Chinese government to track and spy on Americans, with one representative saying that, quote, "I do not trust that TikTok will ever embrace American values." In addition to data collection issues, lawmakers brought up the app's effect on mental health, given its lack of ability to prevent young users from seeing harmful content. However, while Chu faced opposition and intense questioning, not all lawmakers are supportive of the ban. As Democratic Representative Jamal Bowman of New York announced at a press conference, quote, "Let's not marginalize and target TikTok. Let's have a comprehensive conversation about the federal legislation that we need to make sure that people who use social media platforms are safe and their information is secure and their information is not being shared or sold to third parties."
Paul Rusesabagina, who has been credited with saving over 1,200 people during the 1994 Rwanda genocide, has been freed from prison in Rwanda. The Rwanda genocide was well documented, most notably in the 2004 Hollywood movie Hotel Rwanda, where Rusesabagina's dramatic story is told. At the time, Rusesabagina was a hotel manager who welcomed people seeking shelter from the genocide of the Tutsi people into his hotel. The genocide lasted 100 days and resulted in the killing of 800,000 people. According to Rusesabagina and his family, the Rwanda government lured him back to the country 3 years ago and sentenced him to 25 years in prison for terrorism. However, recent negotiations between Rwanda and the United States led to his release on this past Sunday. President Joe Biden released a statement on the news saying that Rusesabagina was, quote, "wrongfully detained," and calling it a, quote, "happy outcome," that he is free to return to his family. Still ahead, your update on sports from Caleb.
We'll be back in 60 seconds.
All right, I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back, and now let's turn it over to sports with Caleb. Caleb, what you got?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to sports. My name is Caleb Breed, and let's get into it. First off, Trinity University Track is on the road this weekend, heading to Kingsville, Texas to compete at the Cactus Cup. A number of Tigers have earned recognition this season, including Joy Ariola, who won SCAC Athlete of the Week last week. In addition, Trinity Baseball will be facing off against the Southwestern University Pirates for the top spot in the SCAC as the Tigers season comes to an end. Trinity stands at a 19-10 record so far in 2023, with a 3-game road trip planned for tomorrow and today. Trinity softball returns for 4 games at home this weekend, playing 2 games this afternoon with 2 games later tomorrow. They play Texas Lutheran University this weekend with a JV game today at 5 and another game at 7. In professional sports, MLB's opening day started a couple of weeks ago with some fantastic games throughout the league. For my Rangers, after acquiring former Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom, the team faced the Philadelphia Phillies in their first game of the season. Despite going down 5-0 in the top of the 4th, Texas came right back with a massive 4th inning, scoring 9 runs to run away with the game. The Rangers are confident that they can make a splash in the American League this season, thanks in large part to pitching, and they hope that they won't fall apart in the 8th inning. MLB's opening day kicks off the 162-game regular season that sees teams compete all the way until October in an attempt to secure a trip to the World Series later on in November. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, sit third in the AL West with a 6-7 record, sitting behind the Texas Rangers, who lead the division with a 7-5 record. In hockey, the NHL playoffs are just around the corner, with teams starting to finish their final games earlier this week. The Dallas Stars won a thrilling match against the Las Vegas Golden Knights that I actually had the privilege of attending last weekend. The win helped the Stars grab a narrow lead over the Colorado Avalanche, who are trying to remain close in the Central Division. Meanwhile, the Boston Bruins secured the best record not just this season but in NHL history, wrapping up a campaign that saw over 60 wins. The close season end has seen a number of broken records and incredible storylines, which will no doubt continue to result in a thrilling playoff ahead. That's going to be it for me, and make sure to have a great weekend.
And that's all the time we have for this week. Make sure to join us for our latest show on Friday, April 21st.
From everyone at Newswave, we hope you have a safe weekend. I'm Cole Isaacson.
And I'm Luke McCauley. We'll see you next week.